China and India today are two of the most powerful countries in Asia. China is considered as an emerging superpower, whereas India is being described as a potential superpower in the future. Economists and researchers believe that both China and India are going to be the biggest economies in the future. The two countries are also the most populous countries in the world, China being first with around 1.43 billion people, and India second with around 1.36 billion people. Today in this video, we are going to compare the military and economic aspects of the two neighboring countries in details. Let's get started. First, let's compare the GDP nominal of both countries. China is the second largest economy next to the US with around 14 trillion US dollars, whereas India is the fourth largest economy with around 3 trillion US dollars. Nuclear weapons. Both China and India are countries that have nuclear weapons. Although the exact numbers are unknown, China is estimated to have around 250 to 300 nuclear warheads, whereas India is estimated to have around 130 to 140 nuclear warheads. In the field of technological advancement, both China and India have developed their own missile defense systems, tested anti-satellite weapons, and developed their own satellite navigation systems, China's being Baidu and India's Navic. Land size. China, total land area, 3.7 million square miles. India, total land area, 1.26 million square miles. By looking at this, we can see China is about 3 times bigger than India. Manpower. The People's Liberation Army China at present has around 2 million active military personnel, whereas the Indian Armed Forces at present have around 1.45 million active military personnel. Now, coming to the reserve military personnel, the Chinese Armed Forces have around 500,000, whereas the Indian Armed Forces have around 1.1 million reserve military personnel. Defense budget. China spends around 180 billion US dollars on its military, and is the second largest next to the United States, whereas India spends around 67 billion US dollars, which is the fourth largest in the world. Land power. The People's Liberation Army at present has around 7,000 main battle tanks as compared to India's 4,800 plus tanks. Over 4,800 armored fighting vehicles as compared to India's 2,900 plus. In addition to this, the Chinese ground forces have 1,700 plus self-propelled artillery as compared to India's 200 plus. Over 1,770 multi-launched rocket systems as compared to India's 260 plus multi-launched rocket systems. Air power. Both India and China maintain a large number of aircraft for its Air Force, Army, and Navy for power projection. Currently, the Chinese Armed Forces have around 4,000 to 4,500 total aircraft, of which around 1,670 plus are fighter jets and over 1,000 are helicopters. Now, coming to India, the Indian Armed Forces have around 2,100 total aircraft, of which around 570 plus are fighter jets and nearly 700 plus are helicopters. Now, coming to the main fighter jets. Stealth Fighter J-20, Su-30 MKK, Su-27, Su-35, J-10 and J-15 are some of the main fighter jets of the People's Liberation Army China, whereas Su-30 MKI, Dassault Rafale, Mirage 2000, HAL Tejas and MiG-29 are the main fighter jets of the Indian Armed Forces. Naval power. Both China and India have a large number of naval ships, as both the countries have large coastal areas. At present, the Chinese Navy has around 700 total ships, of which around 230 are auxiliary or support ships, whereas the Indian Navy has around 300 total naval ships including auxiliaries. Now, let's see what the Chinese and the Indian navies have got in its inventory. Aircraft carriers. China currently has 2 aircraft carriers, whereas India has 1 active aircraft carrier and another one to enter sea trials soon. Destroyers. The Chinese Navy currently has 36 destroyers as compared to India's 11 destroyers. Submarines. China currently has around 75 submarines, of which around 20 plus are nuclear powered, whereas India currently has 20 submarines, of which 3 are nuclear powered. In addition to this, the Chinese Navy has 52 frigates, 50 corvettes and many other landing ships, missile boats and auxiliary ships. And the Indian Navy has 23 corvettes, 14 frigates, and many other landing ships, patrol boats and auxiliary ships in its inventory.